Hey guys, so I'm playing Test Drive Unlimited 2, and I'm using this Russian mod that allows you to, when you're inside of a building, move your character around and basically allow you to escape the building that you're in. So earlier, I was inside of the casino shop that you can access from the inside of the casino, obviously, and when I got out of it, I noticed that there are some islands off in the distance, and at first I thought they were just flat 2D things in the distance to give some detail there, but I thought that was fascinating in itself because there's nothing really to see from the outside from inside of the shop. So I started getting closer to it, and I noticed that they're actually 3D islands. So here you can actually see where I am in relation to the casino shops, which are way over there. And I made it over to this first island, and there's a much larger one over here actually. So I'm gonna go to that one after this and see if the textures are there, kind of like this one, because from a distance this one was basically just a green gradient until I got closer to it. So maybe this one will have some more what I assume is some satellite imagery attached to it. This may have been something that they created earlier. I can't really imagine what this was, but to me it's just super fascinating to see this out here and to kind of think about what this may have been. Clearly they have a texture here. Let's turn off hover mode and fall to the ground and see this. And I'll stop it right there. So from this angle you can tell that it is a 3D model. Maybe they imported this using GPS coordinates just to test something, but this is currently what it looks like. And it's, again, to me it's super fascinating to see this. So let's go back up, and then I will start to move closer to the other island. Actually, I'm going to pause it real quick, and you can see where I am in relation to the original casino shop. So let's start to move closer to these other islands. I think the larger one will be quite a bit more fascinating. Maybe somebody can identify the satellite imagery, assuming it is real satellite imagery, might be able to identify what it is. So I'm going to continue getting a little bit closer to this one, and then I'll come back when there's something to talk about. Okay, so I'm closer to this larger island, and unfortunately there's not as much to look at as this other one. You can see the casino shop way over there. Here is part of this island. Doesn't have any sort of streets or any other type of resolution to it. No real important features to mention as well. But maybe somebody can identify what this may have been, assuming this is something real. I feel like it is something that they imported just to kind of test out and see how they can create a 3D geometry from mapping geographical data, and they just may have left this over in the game. So I'm gonna continue looking around here, and I'll come back once I get closer to this piece over here. So I think this one is most interesting because of how large it is compared to the one over there, but there aren't any, or at least there doesn't appear to be any road textures, assuming that's what they were on that small U-shaped island. But you can see some texture differences though, in terms of, you know, you have your green forest area, this may have been a small town, sandy or snowy mountains. I'm going to fall down and get a little bit closer to it. Oh, and this series of smaller islands over here I thought was also fascinating. This might be able to help people figure out if this may have been modeled after a real location, and then we can figure out what it was. So I'm going to disable hover mode so we can get a little bit closer to this island and see what the topography is like in terms of the height of these mountains. So there we are. Not sure if this is recognizable or not, but let's go back up. And then I will end this video by looking at the small series of islands over here. I'm a little bit closer. I'm going to turn hover mode off again, and then we can see what the height of these islands is. Not too tall compared to this peak over there. One thing to note is that I am far enough away from the casino shop to where I can't even see it off in the distance. I think one of the interesting things about this island is that it pretty much has a sudden end to it over here. Right there. What I'm going to do now before I end the video is go as high as I can so that I can get this series of islands in a single view. Again, I don't know if anybody is able to recognize this to see if it's anything real. That way we can see what location they were testing when they were creating this game. Or maybe this is leftovers from the first Test Drive Unlimited, who knows. Pretty interesting to think about, I think. There's the U-shaped island over there that we saw earlier that actually had what may have been a satellite image attached to it. So I'm not really angled really well to get all of these in view, but I'm just going to leave it right here. Maybe this is enough for somebody to look at. Here's this other larger island. So I'm actually back about 45 minutes later because I thought that maybe there's got to be a way to remove the entire water layer from the game. I don't know how to do that. So an alternative I thought of was to simply go beneath the water and see what things might look like from there. And hopefully the audio situation is sorted out now as well. So here we are above the water, and we're going to go beneath it. And you'll see that this entire object is much larger than originally anticipated. And not even to mention the much larger island over there, which I'll go take a look at shortly. You can actually see the casino shop way over there. So a little fascinating, or even more fascinating, I think, because you can really tell that they either created this by scratch, including some of the textures here, or they imported it from something. Getting a little bit closer over here, and then I will go underwater, I'm pretty convinced that this entire coastline may have been, because you can tell that it's kind of grayish in color compared to the rest of the island, so I'm thinking it may actually have been a city, obviously just a very low resolution texture here. So the U-shaped island is over there that we were looking at earlier, and now we will go down beneath the water near this much larger island. And I'm a little bit too close to it, but you can tell it pretty much just falls off and goes underwater, so not too much there. And then we have over here the series of islands that appears above the water. And when we get closer to that and go underground, or underwater rather, we will see that it's all one large piece. So, I know I've said this multiple times, but I think this entire thing is pretty fascinating. I'm going to do some digging into some additional interiors that I can escape out of and see if there are any additional 3D areas like this. It's worth noting that this entire, well, all of the models here are not solid, so you will fall right through them, whereas the casino shop, you are able to basically stand on top of the ceiling, for example. So you can see that all of this is one large object, and then here we have everything else. So pretty neat, and that's it.